1.3, we're going to do standard form. The last lesson we did was vertex form. So we looked at equations that look like this. So basically some big things that you notice are some parentheses. So you've got like x plus or minus something in parentheses, and then something added or subtracted at the end. And vertex form makes it really easy to find the vertex. No calculations required. Most everything that we see in this unit will be in standard form. And that looks like this. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And a, b, and c are some number. So it might be y equals 2x squared plus 3x plus 4. Something like that. Just like in vertex form, the a, or the number in the front, tells us if the parabola points up or down. So if it's a positive number, the parabola points up. If it's a negative number, the parabola points down. The c value tells us the y-intercept. And with the y-intercept, it's okay to list it as just a number. So like if this was plus 5, you could say that the y-intercept is 5, or you could give a coordinate. The coordinate 0, 5. Either way works. But the vertex, it's a little bit harder to figure out the vertex. You don't take the opposite of this. It's not like that. There's actually a formula that you have to use to find the vertex. And so that comes down here. And basically the formula is right here. Negative b over 2a. And so that's a formula you've got to memorize and be good at. You've got to remember how to do that. So when we have a quadratic, we're going to start by listing out the a, b, and c. So number 1, your a is always the number paired with the x squared. So it's always the coefficient on the x squared. And what would that number be? 1. B is always the number with your x, which is -4. And C is the number that's by itself, the constant. What would that be? -5. Good. So when we find the vertex, we first find the x value. That's -b over 2a. So negative, what's my b? -4 over 2 times my a, which is 1. What's -4? Just +4. And then 2 times 1 is 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. So the x value of the vertex is 2. To find the y value, we have to plug that back in. So it's 2 squared minus 4 times 2 minus 5. And so you can plug that back in like I have here, or you could use the store button. 2 store x, and then type in your equation. Either way, you get -9. So the vertex is the point 2, -9. Are there any questions? Number 2, we'll start by listing out our A, B, and C. What's A? Good. B? Perfect. And C? Good. So x equals negative b, so -12 over 2a, so 2 times 2. So -12 over 4 is -3. So that's the x value of the vertex. To find the y value, we have to plug it back in. Remember, you can use the store button. I would recommend that, especially when you've got negatives involved. So you should get a vertex of -3, -2. I'll do some more, but now I'm going to ask you a few more questions about this quadratic. But let's start with the vertex. And you don't have to put A equals, B equals, C equals each time. I wanted to start with that just to make sure you knew where those numbers were coming from. So it's negative B. What's my B? 16. Yep. So I'm going to have -16 over 2 times, what's my A? 1. -16 over 2 is -8. And the y very important that you either use the store button or you got to put the -8 in parentheses. The squared part is not in the parentheses. So just the -8's in parentheses and then the squared outside of it. If you don't do that, you will not get the correct answer. And what do you get for your y value? 7. So the vertex is negative 8, 7. Then it asks us if it's a maximum, if that vertex is a maximum or a minimum. So I told you that the number in the front tells us if it points up or down. Is my A value positive or negative? Positive. So it points up. So do we have a maximum or a minimum? Minimum, because it's at the bottom. And our minimum or maximum is always at the y value of the vertex. So it's going to be a minimum at 7. Yep. So the lowest possible value, y value, is a 7. What about the axis of symmetry? Does anybody remember how we do the axis of symmetry? What does it start with? X equals. What does x equal? It's always the x value of the vertex. Negative 8. And then the y-intercept is the c value of our equation, which is 71. Since I've given you a place for a coordinate, go ahead and write it as 0, 71. Let's try number 4. So to find the vertex, we have to do negative b over 2a. So that's going to be negative 2 over 2 times 1. And I get what? 1. Positive 1. So the y, 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 5. Negative 6, I believe. So 1, negative 6. Max or min? Minimum at negative 6. Axis of symmetry?
X equals 1.
Good. X equals 1. Y-intercept?
0, -5.
0, negative 5. Good. Try number 5 on your own. So on this one, you should have negative 7 for your x. And this is one you can get kind of tricky with lots of negatives. You'd be better off using the store button probably. So to store negative 7 and then just type this in. You don't have to worry about does the negative go inside the parentheses, outside the parentheses, all of that kind of stuff. Now the next two, we're going to start by finding the vertex, because when we graph, our middle point, and then we work out from there. So let's find vertex, and I'm going to work out down here at the bottom. So x equals negative negative 12, or 2 times 2. So I get 12 over 4, which is 3. And then a y value, I'm going to plug the 3 in. And I believe you get negative 2. So that's going to help us when we graph. We kind of want the vertex to be in the middle. And then we would try to go 2 or more if you can above, 2 or more below, but you kind of want that vertex to be in the middle. So now I'm going to plug in these other x values. So 2 times 1 squared minus 12 times 1 plus 16. We get 6. And then 0. Now, parabolas are mirror images of themselves. So you really, if you can remember that, you really don't need to type these in. What should you get for the 4? 0. And what should you get for the 5? 6. Good. Now my graph only goes up to 5, but I'm just going to estimate. That's close enough. 2, 0, 3, negative 2, 4, 0, something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. I do want you to avoid making a sharp point at the vertex, because it's important that you know it's not a V shape. It doesn't come to a sharp point. And then number 7. Do negative 8 over 2 times negative 1. And what is our x value? Positive 4. And 1 for your y. Now I know that my graph stops at 5, so there's no point in me even writing 6 there. That looks something like that. Any questions?